this section, we're going to discuss loan-to-value ratios. Mathematically, loan-to-value ratios are simple to calculate. The difficult part usually comes in just figuring out which number goes where. So loan-to-value ratio is defined as the loan amount divided by the lower of the purchase price or appraised value. So in this case, we have our loan amount of $150,000, our purchase price of $220, and our appraised value of $200. So we know we're going to take our loan amount and divide it by something. So we're going to go $150,000 divided by, now we have to determine what we want to divide it by. As we said before, the loan-to-value ratio is defined as the loan amount divided by the lower of the purchase price or appraised value. And since we have an appraised value of $200 and a purchase price of $220, we are going to use the appraised value, because that's the lower of the two numbers, to calculate our loan-to-value ratio. So when we divide $150,000 by $200,000, that gives us, on your calculator, an answer of 0.75, which that is equal to 75%. So our loan-to-value ratio on this problem is 75. So let's change our example a little bit and talk about combined loan-to-values. Combined loan-to-values are used when you have a first and a second mortgage. The loan-to-value, just the plain loan-to-value, is always going to be based off of the first mortgage amount. So in this case, if we have an appraised value of $200,000 and a first mortgage of $100,000, those are the only two numbers we're going to use to figure the loan-to-value. So in this case, the loan-to-value is simply $100,000 divided by the $200,000, which gives us a loan-to-value of 50%. So whenever you have a loan-to-value and a CLTV or combined loan-to-value question, just use the first mortgage amount for the loan-to-value calculation. The combined loan-to-value or CLTV includes the second mortgage, and again, it's fairly simple math. All you're going to do is you're going to take the loan amount of the first and the loan amount of the first and the loan amount of the second, add those two together, and then divide that by your appraised value. If we had a purchase price, you'd use the appraised value or purchase price, which is ever lower. In this case, we're going to take the $100,000, add to that the $50,000 for the second loan amount. That gives us a total loan amount with the first and the second of $150,000. And then to find the CLTV or combined loan to value, you're going to divide that sum by the appraised value, which is $200,000, which gives you a CLTV of 75%. One last loan-to-value example. In this problem, we're going to introduce the terms TLTV, which stands for total loan-to-value, HLTV, and HCLTV, which stands for HELOC loan-to-value, or HELOC combined loan-to-value. Now, loan-to-value, again, is always going to be calculated in the same way. Loan-to-value is always going to be the first mortgage divided by the lower of the appraised value or purchase price. In this case, we don't have a purchase price, so we're just going to use the appraised value, and our first mortgage is $100,000. So in order to figure the loan-to-value, we're just going to take the $100,000, divide that by $300,000, and that's going to give us a loan-to-value of 33%. So that's our loan-to-value calculation, so that part's pretty easy. So now we're going to introduce HELOC loan-to-value. Now, HELOC stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. As the name implies, it is a line of credit. The balance can change. It basically acts like a big credit card secured by the home. And it always has a current balance and then a maximum amount that can be drawn on that line. In our example here, our maximum amount is $100,000, but the current balance is only $50,000. So the question then becomes, when you're calculating the CLTV, do you use the maximum amount or do you use the currently dispersed amount? The definition says that in order to figure the HLTV, which is the same as the HCLTV or the CLTV, you're actually going to use the maximum amount of the line, which in this case is $100,000. So that math calculation becomes $100,000, which is the first mortgage amount, plus the maximum amount of the second mortgage, or the line of credit, which is also $100,000. That gives us a total of $200,000. Then divide that by the appraised value, or the purchase price, whichever is lower, and that in this instance gives us a HLTV, HCLTV, or CLTV of 66%. And the final problem we're going to do is the total loan to value. The total loan to value uses the balance on the line of credit as the second mortgage amount rather than the actual high credit amount, which we use from calculating the loan to value ratio. In this example, the balance is $50,000. So in order to do that calculation, you're going to take your first mortgage amount, which is still $100,000, add to that the dispersed amount on the HELOC, which is $50,000, which gives us a total of $150,000. Then divide that by your appraised value, which in this instance gives you a TLTV of 50%. So again, the total loan to value is based on the first mortgage and the amount dispersed on the second mortgage, whereas the HLTV, HCLTV, or CLTV involves the first mortgage amount and the maximum amount or the recorded amount of the credit line on the second mortgage HELOC.